Howdy. Want to know what I've been doing all winter? Building this, among other things. I know you can't see me, see my head, but my head isn't the focus of this video. This is my collection station for the new sugar bush that I put in. And I have it running, simulating what it's going to do out in the bush. There's 3 parts to this. The first part is this, which is a Mountain Maple S3 controller. It is the brains of the operation. It keeps track of the temperature, the vacuum that is being drawn from the sap lines, various voltages. It's basically the brains of what it is we got going on here. From there, there's 2 different functions, obviously 2 different pumps. On this side, on the left side, is where we're drawing the sap in. The sap is coming through this manifold. I have 5 lines going up into the trees, and each one of these is connected to one of those lines. This is an extra one that I won't be using. It comes down here, goes through this manifold. This is a switch, an electronic switch. It's normally open. While it's running, while the pump's running, this is closed, so all the sap will come up here, get filtered, go through the pump, and then come down, and I have a bucket down here at the bottom that's simulating the bulk tank that I'm going to be collecting the sap in. When this turns off, and it's all done automatically, when it gets down to a certain temperature, then this will shut down. This valve will open up, and so if there's any subsequent flow from the trees, it will come through the manifold, go in here, come down, and then go and drain by gravity into the collection tank. So this is going to fill up our collection tank. Then what happens is when the tank gets to a certain point, and you can't see it on here, I'm actually going to lift it. Here's my tank. That tank has, I've got the sap going into it. The tank has 2 sensors on it. It's got a top sensor and a bottom sensor. I'm going to put it back down. These sensors sense the level of sap that's in the collection tank. When the sap gets up to the top sensor, then that activates the pump. And that pump will take the sap that's in the tank, it'll run it through the filter, and then it'll go out here, and there's a plug on the other side that I'll connect to. And there, it's connected up to the line that I have running up to the sugar shack. That's what I was putting in last fall. The sap will get transferred up to the sugar shack. When the level of the sap gets down to the bottom sensor, that will shut off this pump. It will also open up this gate. Any sap that's in the line between here and the sugar shack will drain back down into the tank. It's, I don't know, 5-7 gallons, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But when it gets down to a certain point, this will turn off, this will open up, and it'll wait till the sap fills up again. You can hear, I don't know, you might not be able to hear, but the valve is closed, the pump started up, it's now pulling water in this case out of the collection tank, and then it's draining down the drain. So we've got this side is filling up the collection tank. We have this side is taking and emptying the collection moving the sap up to where we want it, which is up at the sugar shack, where we're going to boil it down, run it through reverse osmosis and all that kind of stuff. So the idea here was to make sure it was working before I actually installed it in the field. And it's a good thing I did, because when I first tested this out, this guy was leaking. I had a bad ball valve here, so I had to get a new ball valve, replace this one, and now everything's working fine. We have good vacuum. Right now it's about 17 inches, but I expect once we get that hooked up out in the field, where we actually have, I've got 2 lines that are drawing the water out, so there's really hard to do a vacuum, because a vacuum implies that it's a closed system. And once we have the taps and the trees, that closes the system. So I'm real happy. I've got this little thing I made, which I set up where we'll go in front of it, so it'll protect it from the elements. I've got these removable hinges on it and some clamps, so we'll be protected from the elements. And if everything works well, this is what will get us all of our sap from the lower sugar bush. And that's that for now. We'll see it in the field soon.